All right, welcome to our first meeting. This is our Grow to Go Global accountability team. So thank you guys for being here. My name is Dee Corton, and Nicole DeWard and Susan Pallas and I wanted to have this opportunity for you guys to be able to come together as a group, as an accountability group, to individually reach your goals. And so specifically, I just wanted to take a minute and kind of go over why are we here, and what would be the goal and the point of being a part of this on your part. And what we're really talking about is to be able to qualify to Go Global, which is Go Global is a national event that is held by Optavia, that is at that is the first leadership event that somebody would need to qualify for. And at Go Global, as opposed to our national convention, it's really for people who really want to build a business with Optavia. So if you're executive director level or higher, then you really are showing committed that you want to help a lot of people and potentially help a lot of health coaches, as by yourself, as well as adding health coaches. So to build a business requires education, right? I mean, most of us are entrepreneurs, and we can get a lot through videos and webinars, but to be an actual live event is a much different experience. So Go Global is coming up in April of 2018. The specific dates, because since you're here, I think let's be proactive and go ahead and mark the dates out on your calendar. But the dates are actually April 12th through the 15th. And we can get you the location details, but it is in Orlando, Florida. So for those of us in the Southeast, that's a real easy trip to get to. And actually Orlando is a nice place because usually from anywhere, flights are pretty reasonable to get to Orlando. So in order to qualify to be able to get an invitation to this event, the qualification actually started on October 1st, 2017, and it continues through March 31st, 2018. So in just 3 months, or two or 3 months from now. And all you have to do is we have to qualify as an executive director 3 times during that window of time. So if you've already been an executive director for 1, 2, or 3 months, so let's say you qualified as an executive director October, November, December, you've already qualified. But by being a part of this group, it's going to help you, if you have somebody on your team who wants to be a part of it, help develop them. But also it's going to help you with your own momentum and action so that you continue to stay at your level. Because I was always not really taught, you're not taught anything in this business, but I was always been of the mindset that once you achieve a level, we never want to fall behind. We never want to step back. We always want to be moving forward. And sometimes we do, and sometimes life happens, but we always want to be regrouping and moving forward. So if you haven't, like maybe you've achieved executive director once since October, well, then that would mean you would need to achieve it 2 more times. So January, February, and or March, hopefully all 3 months, you would qualify. And the good news is, even if you haven't reached executive director yet during that time frame, you can still qualify. And that's why we wanted to have these special meetings, because you can still qualify with action, right? And with the right mindset and with action, you can still qualify. And that would simply mean that you would just achieve executive director January, February, and March. All right, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We're starting to get a lot of people on, so what I'm going to do is just mute. But if you have questions, just unmute yourself, raise your hand or whatever, because this is really a good clarification. We're just starting the foundation, so I want to make sure everybody understands where we're going with it. So the other question, because some of us are newer coaches, and we might not even really know what does executive director mean, right? How do you achieve that rank? So with our company, I mean, we are actually gain ranks by how many clients we're servicing, and or how many clients we're servicing with a combination of senior coaches with us. So in order to achieve executive director ranking by yourself and just servicing clients, and which is great because you're going to be helping a lot of people, that would mean that you would have a frontline volume of $6,000 or higher. So that generally translates to helping, 20 to 25 people. All right, because we know that people's orders vary. So that's basically the numbers we're looking at. If you are a brand new coach and people have achieved executive director in, 30 days less, it happens. Even on this call, we have people that have done it in record time. What that would mean if you were taking all brand new clients, it's like 17 clients. So if you took the frontline volume of 356 of new clients, it would be about 17. So I just want to paint the picture that even as a new, very, very new coach, it's very achievable if that's something that you want to do. The other way that we can become an executive director is to have a combination of our own clients and then also having senior coaches on our team and people who achieve that senior coach rank in a given month. So at a minimum, what that would mean is that we always have to have 5 ordering entities by ourselves, a minimum, and $1,200 in volume. And then we would have to have a combination. We'd have to have 4 more points with that. And a point is $1,200 in volume by yourself or 1 senior coach underneath you. So to kind of break it down in an example, if you were a director and you had $4,800 in volume by yourself, and then you had 1 senior coach leg, 1 senior coach team, you have $4,800 yourself, your senior coach has $1,200 or above in volume. So now you've reached that ranking of executive director. Or if you're a associate director with $3,600 in volume and you had 2 senior coaches under you, that would then qualify you as an executive director. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. All right. So some of the reasons, all right, so sometimes people will say, and it's not you because you're on this call, right? You want to be there, you're invested. There's football games on, it's late on a Monday night, but you're here, so you want to know. But the reasons we attend events is because it is education, and statistics show that it does move us forward with our business. And Nicole did a great job on her live video the other day of sharing what it generally means for people that attend Go Global. But in general, and I'll just run through this quickly because she already covered it, but in general, people that attend Go Global have a 45% more frontline volume than coaches who don't attend. They have 252% more group volume, which that means it's their volume plus the coaches on their team. And they generally have 2 or more, or 2 times more senior coach teams. And 84% of the 256 rank advancements that happened after Go Global last year, so that is people who not only reached executive director, but then they reached the higher ranks of integrated executive director, regional director, national director, global director, presidential. 84% of those people who ranked up after Go Global, which means they were at least an executive director, 84% of them were Go Global attendees. So it just speaks for itself, so why you would want to be a part of it. So we can sit here and talk about a lot of action steps to do, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of training available on action steps, and I'll have an action item for you at the end of the call as far as what to do around that. But we really thought we'd spend the time tonight to talk about why. Why would this be important to you to achieve the rank of executive director, right? Why would it be worth it to you? Because at the end of the day, if we're going to reach a new goal and we're going to stretch it for a new goal, it's going to likely involve doing some stuff that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, doing some stuff that you don't really want to do. Maybe, you don't feel like it. You're busy. It might be inconvenient. It might make your schedule a little more hectic. So we have to, it's got to be one of those situations where is the juice worth the squeeze, right? So, we can say we want to go, but we got to really want, we got to really want that rank. We really got to want and know why we want it. So some questions that I would ask, and I want to preface this always by saying that anytime we're striving to reach a new level, you know, we never want to lose sight of the number of that this all happens because of the number of people that we're helping, right? So this is always, always, always about the number of people that we're helping. But generally, I mean, that we're paid well to be health coaches, so generally that's going to translate to compensation for you. And so I think the questions are going to be to think about and ask yourself that if you would, you know, if you qualify and you achieve the rank of executive director, and for the most part, that's going to range in income for you from anywhere $2,000 to $2,800 in income on a monthly basis. Questions to ask yourself would be, you know, what's that income going to do for you? You know, so I'd write this down, and that's going to be a question that you're gonna ask and maybe share with your business coach. What's that going to do for you? How's it going to impact your family? What freedom will it provide for you? So, you know, it's different for different people. You know, maybe it's going to allow you to reduce some debt. Maybe it's going to allow you to take a family vacation, you know, use it for travel money. Maybe it's going to allow you to, you know, make that car payment.Maybe it's going to allow you to actually start saving more money, you know, or tithing or whatever it means. But what is it going to allow you to do that you can't, that you don't have now, that you want, that's important to you? And what does it represent? You know, a lot of times it's not necessarily the money, but what is the achievement? What does the accomplishment represent to you as an individual, as a human? So my thoughts around that would be is have your big picture in mind of what do you want to accomplish with Optavia, your big picture, and then we break that down into, you know, into what does it look like, and of course executive director would be your next step. The next thing is, and we did ask that you do this, is that you complete your map. All right, that you've completed your map, your monthly action plan for the month of January. And that hopefully that is completed, and whether it has been or not, that you'll go ahead and complete it and discuss it with your business coach within 24 to 48 hours. Because we've got to evaluate your current reality, where you are versus where you want to be. And creating that structure is going to be what's going to change our behavior. So we've got Nicole on the line. Nicole is going to jump in just verbally. She's had some dental work done, but she wants to share a little bit about creating that tension in our map and how we can use that for us. So Nicole, you want to jump in?
Yeah, thanks, Dee. Thanks for running the call tonight. And I'm not my usual peppy self, so I'm going to keep my screen off. That and I can't smile, which feels very strange. So I want to first say thank you to all of you who have taken the time to jump on this call tonight, because really it's just like attending an event when you show up. For us as business coaches, we look at the people who are raising their hand, not only physically, but or even saying that they want it, but people that really do the do and show up. So people that are coming to events and getting on the calls shows us the people who we are to invest our time in. And so we appreciate each and every one of you for stepping up and saying, I'm in. I still remember the time that Dr. A talked about this Aztec symbol called All In. It's OLLIN. And he got really excited about this all-in Aztec symbol, and it means to go with all your heart. And he got so jazzed up about this Aztec symbol that about the whole idea about all in, that he jumped off the stage. And it was so awesome to watch him jump off the stage, but he was so excited about going all in. And so that's what we've asked you guys for Go Global, because really that's what it's going to take, is for you to go all in for the next 3 weeks of the month, and having a clear vision, which is what Dee just talked about, where really understanding not only where you are by saying, right now I'm a senior coach with 1,500 in volume. It's even looking at what are your current action items that you're doing. Like if you're calling 5 people a day and your results are you're a senior coach with 1,500 in volume, we're going to have some skills, actions, or concepts that we need to address. Because if you're currently doing action, that's what's important for us as business coaches to know, is what are you currently doing that is netting the result you're seeing. And so, and that even goes for Dee and I. When we're talking to Susan, we're like, okay, here are the things that we're doing, and it's not netting the result that we want, or maybe it is netting the result, because you want to rinse and repeat what it is you're doing that's going well. Because if we're spending time doing things that aren't netting us the result that we're looking for, then we're wasting our time. And so we all know that each of us, our time is valuable. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, and hopefully you're spending 7 to 8 of it sleeping and an hour of it exercising, so that doesn't leave a lot of time for your family and your work, right? And so we want to make sure that you're spending a good bit of time and spending it well. And the only way we can do that is by addressing the current reality of, this is what I'm currently doing, and this is really what I want. And ultimately what you want, Dee painted a great picture of what is, you've all raised your hand and said you want to be an executive director. Dee has told you what that's going to look like. And it's probably a good idea to decide if you see yourself going ED, the blended path with having a senior coach and 4,800 in volume, or 2 senior coaches and 3,600 in volume, really putting it out there, because you're going to attract that which you want to achieve. So if you're looking for 2 senior coaches in the next 2 weeks, there's some different action items, right, that are going to have to be taken, as opposed to you being client focused. And so really identify what that looks like for you. If you have 10 coach candidates right now, it probably is a really good plan for you to go blended with the 2 senior coaches, because you've got a lot of candidates that can get started in January. Is a great time of year to really get people going. So as you're assessing where this, I want to be this executive director, this is what it's going to look like. Remember, as we stretch that rubber band, there's tension there. And the tension says, this could get uncomfortable, right? But there are steps that we want to take along the way that are going to help us achieve those goals. And when we look at the map, you can see it like the structural tension chart that we use for our clients. Here's where they are, here's where they want to be, and there's primary and secondary choices along the way that need to be made in order for the goal to be achieved. And so our map kind of does that for us as well, helps us to address what our business looks like the current reality and where we want it to be, clients that we're talking to that are in our funnel, coach candidates, what our senior coaches look like, and our clients. But I would even propose along the left side of your map that we start to maybe write some action items that here's what I was currently doing, and here's what I need to up. Like if I'm talking to one person a day, starting one conversation, and I need to triple my business to go global, then I'm going to need to triple my action. And that's really what we're asking you guys is do you want it like that? Because that's what it's going to take. It doesn't just happen because you put out in the universe that you'd like to go global. We're going to go to global, blah, blah, blah. Although we'd love it if you all go global as well, I would just like to say. But, the reality is that as we put the intention in and really get good at writing out what that's going to look like and having accountability around it, we are here to not only cheer you guys on, but we're here to say, hey, are you open to stretching? And let us help stretch you into a place where you want to go. Because we've been there, and really the business coaches only need to be one step ahead of coaches. So you guys are all steps ahead of people that will come on your team that you can lead and guide like we're doing for you. And so that's really our heart, is to duplicate our actions and then rinse and repeat those things that are going well. And so I couldn't be more grateful for Susan's leadership and over the past year partnering with Dee and just coming alongside each other and really having a running buddy. We've seen such a benefit in the two of us coming together, being running buddies, that we would hope that for you guys as well, that you would find a running buddy that you would link arms with, and that you could stretch each other more like accountability partners versus, business coach relationship. But there's some good places in being competitive with your running buddy. And maybe had somebody last thing that I'd recommend is find specifically on your team, but just somebody that shares the same values and goals and is a similar place in their business as you, so that you can really motivate and encourage one another to keep growing and keep stretching. So thank you, Susan. Thank you, Dee, for stretching me and holding me accountable and encouraging me when I need it.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, I think that those points that you made are so valuable, and actually going to just touch on that even a little bit more just to reinforce. Yeah, we talked about your map and doing your map and working with your coach to kind of paint the picture of, okay, here's where you are, here's where you want to go, and what needs to happen in between there. And Nicole was exactly right. I mean, generally, if there's a gap between where we are and where we want to be, and I'm asking Susan to speak just a little bit around this, there's generally, it's a skill, it's an action, or a concept. And very, very often it's in the action category, right? And so if we're looking to really stretch, we'll probably need to increase action. But sometimes there's a skill that is an issue, like maybe you're talking to people and nobody's saying yes. That's something that we want to be talking and working with your one-on-one with your business coach, not necessarily in this forum for. And then the other is sometimes there's a concept. And Susan has been, I'm going to change gears a bit, Susan, on what I asked you to speak about, because Susan has a great phrase that there can become a kink in the hose based on what's going on in our thoughts. So Susan, can you just jump in a little bit and just talk about that intrinsic motivation and then what might block the flow of ideas and actions?
Yeah, but you can talk about it too. A few of those. No, thank you guys. Y'all just rock it. I just love you and having partners like all of you, because, I've just been in the business a little bit longer. That's why I have this title, and I earned my title. But, we both, Dee, Nicole, and I have been for a long time working to sponsor people like at our level in terms of enthusiasm, in terms of work ethic, in terms of what we want to create. So we're all partners here. We just have been doing it a little bit longer. So just so you know, but I love what Dee said about the motivation and there's extrinsic motivation, and I think that's so important. It's like we want to make a certain amount of money for what Dee said, what it's going to do for us. And then, the income, the impact, how many lives do we want to touch? I mean, it feels really good to be able to impact a life. And I know Zena has been, so surprised at the lives she's impacted. Whereas Meg, you've impacted me already, and you just got here, so Julie's impacted many lives, and so, but there's one thing about action, and sometimes when you feel yourself like the kink in the hose, what Dee was talking about, is we're motivated extrinsically, but nothing's happened. And usually it's because we haven't attached it to something intrinsic. What does it mean to us? And I love Maslow in the hierarchy of needs, he said, you must be what you can be. And that's always motivated me because, like, do I want to be the best version of myself? And I'm playing in this arena, and what does that look like? You could be playing in another arena. You could be playing football, and an athlete will be on the field with the same mindset challenges that we have, with the same doubts, fears. Every single person who's making a difference in people's lives has those same things. So what intrinsically will it do for you to reach the next step? And Dee didn't have a whole lot of extrinsic goals. Nicole too, it was really, we had to zero in on their intrinsic goals because extrinsically, that wasn't motivating to either Dee or Nicole, I have to say. And so, And so one of the things that if you get in the way, the other thing that there is called systemic motivation. Systemic motivation can be very debilitating. It's I should, I have to, I must. And that can throw you off quicker than anything else. And so be very careful if you hear your say, well, I need to. And if you can shift that to, well, I want to, and we can, talk to your business coach around how do you get to that want to, choose to, get to. I get to make these calls. I get to reach out to people today. And so if you find one thing about action, it can be, I got to. And so what I look for is inspired action. And if you can every morning, put your hand on your heart, in quiet time, who do I need to talk to today? Whose life can I bless? Who can, and just whoever comes to your mind, put it down on a piece of paper and then, reach out, whether pray or meditate or whatever you like to do to stretch. And the reason that I love this quote, and I'll end with this, around stretching is it feels really good to stretch. And it does take us that next level. And Mac Anderson, this quote I just read, don't be afraid to go out on a limb because that's where the fruit is. So thank you guys for letting me share.
Thank you, Susan. That really sums it up well. And I think the message that we wanted to relay tonight is really getting crystal clear on, do you want this? And if you do, why? And we're here. I mean, Susan, Nicole, myself, your direct business coach, if they're on the call, we are here because this is the most amazing thing about Optavia is that we are all here for other people's success. Like, it's almost like you with your clients, like how excited you get for them when they're excited. That's how we get as far as helping coaches. So we want to go hip to hip with our coach. We want to link arms. And you do need to make the commitment to yourself, and I just shared a story with Susan that, at Sundance, it was not this past Sundance, but the one before, Ron Gels was really, really challenging me on my next goal. Ron is a global above Susan, and said to me, I want you to write it down. I want you to write it down for me when you're going to be that level and the date, like the level you want to be and the date. And seriously, my heart was pounding because it was a stretch. I was making this commitment, and lo and behold, he sent me a little card over the weekend and just said, congratulations, you did it, and so sometimes things don't always go in the time frame we want, etc. But you set the goal, and we don't want to ever waver from the goal. And I will tell you, no matter what, you're gonna grow in this process as an individual, as a coach, and your business will grow no matter what. But I really encourage you to define it. I'm all about the index card. I would write it down. I will be executive director January 2017. Put it down, put it visible, because then I keep these by my desk. It's in my face. So I'm going to see it and go, okay, what am I doing today to become executive director or whatever that title might be. So your takeaways for tonight, if you're in an area where, Elevate Now. Elevate Now is this weekend. Now, if you live in Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, we've got some larger events planned. And if you're in that region, I would say, straight up this week is that's a great opportunity to reach out to people who haven't said yes yet, etc., and invite and attend Elevate Now. But Elevate Now is intended for small group discussions that can take place in your living room, you know, around your kitchen table. And within Optavia Share, there is great resources for hosting an event. So yeah, that might make your heart patter, but it would be something that I would consider doing if you're serious. The other thing is, I'm going to post it. There is a video by Dan Valentine, and I'll post it in our Facebook group, that's called 10 Steps to Finish Your Month Strong. So we're going to ask that you watch that within 24 hours. You report back in to the group that you've watched it, and that that you've watched it, and then we're going to go right into action with the steps. And none of this is rocket science. And if you're struggling with any of it, that's when we talk to her, you know, directly with our coach. So we will do these meetings every Monday, 8:30. We've got 3.5 weeks, I think even another like day or so. So all things are possible this month. So any questions before we close out? I want to respect your time. Okay. Terry, did you have something, Terry? Okay, I'm not sure.
I said I'll ask later. I mean,
okay.
it pertains to me, so yeah, I have a couple questions, but I'll ask later.
Okay,
Sorry.
goes to the one-on-one. All right, very good. Thanks for investing in yourselves, your time, and others by being here. Thanks you, Susan and Nicole. And we'll see you in our Facebook group. We have a lot of activity going on. Thanks, you guys.